it's Louise with louisemckayart, and welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here, and I'm going to be working today on a cradle board. But what I have is this cradle board is for, I think it's 14 inches. That would be a 14-inch cradle board, and I've taped off the side, and I've primed the top and the sides. So that's what we got, and what we're going to do today is, if you've seen these before, I've done these, and going straight across. Today I'm just going to have like a little wavy pattern, like a little Charlie Brown, I think, and just vary it up a little bit, and maybe I will embellish it later. I don't know yet. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so here are my swipers. Now, there's nothing pretty about this. They're acetate wipes, acetate pages, similar to this, that you can get at the Staples store, anywhere, any office supply store, like a document protector. And it's a little bit on the thicker side. There's thicker, and then there's thinner, like these. These are really thin, and I don't like the thin, especially with the Bloom recipe, which is a thicker paint. So you got that that's thin, and that's thicker. So I don't know how much thicker, but it's probably at least twice as thick. So I got various sizes here that I'll use throughout this creation. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. And sometimes when I first started, I put tape on one end so I know which is the handle side, but it doesn't even matter if you have that. And I've got 7 colors over there. And I've got my Glidden 6011N eggshell. This is a pillow paint. This is not a paint for the pouring medium. This is a pillow, because this already has titanium white in it. That's the big difference. Do not use pillow paint as your pouring medium. So that's that. And what I'm going to do, I'm using my Australian Floetrol. This is Australian. And I've got 2 different colors here, and both of which are Amsterdam. This is Australian Ultramarine Violet. And this is Persian Rose. And I hope I have enough to get through all this. Okay. My colors. I'll go over the colors as I go over the creation. This is where I'm going to put my cell activator, so I'm going to leave right there. So, let me get this started. I'll probably skip ahead here, because all I'm going to do here is just lay down the pillow paint and get it stretched out across this creation, and you don't need to see all this because this is not that exciting. But I am going to cover the whole thing, and I'll be back. So I do take a while here to get the pillow down, but I just want to make sure I have everything stretched out and spread out over the sides and edges, as when I start swiping, I'm going to be pulling the swipe completely to the end and then hopefully over the edge. All right, start with my colors. I think I'm going to hopefully I can get that right. So my first color here is Arteza's Chromium Oxide Green. And what I'm doing here is I'm just getting my first lay of the outline I'm going to put down that I will use as my reference point for placing all the colors over top of it and around it. So I'm being very careful the first time out to get my mark where I want it in the shape I want for this piece. And as you see, I've already picked up the pace here. I think I'm at about 5 times the speed. You don't need to see me do this on real time. As I go through at fast speed, I'm going to flash up each of the colors as we go. And in the meantime, I'm going to put on some music. I'll be back when I'm done laying down the colors. activator. Sure hope I have enough. I kind of feel like I don't have enough. But I'll make more if I have to. All right, get my wipers, swipers. It's too big. I think I said that last time. All right, let's just start from here. All right, we'll go, it's all gonna mix up anyway. Push it in, dig it in a little bit, and then pull. And when you pull, you want to apply some downward pressure as you're going, and then pull steadily all the way across until you go off the edge completely. Try it again. Let's go here. Push it in. Notice on this one I lifted up just a little bit right at the end there, and I ended up leaving a blank space, which is what you don't want to do. I took pressure off at the end. That's why there's that. So you'll notice as I go through this, I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just kind of randomly, sporadically laying down my swipe because I want to have that random look at the end. Again, I took pressure off at the end. You'll also notice as I go through this, I use different sizes, and when I go on fast forward later, I will highlight the size changes in text to highlight when I'm changing from one size to another size. Try the other way. So I want to give you a good amount of swiping action here at real time so you can see the pressure I'm applying, how I'm dragging it through, the pace at which I'm going, and how I take it off at the end. It's very important you go at a steady and equal pace from start to finish. If you slow down, your cells will change. If you speed up, they'll stretch out. And if you hesitate at all, you'll see a hitch and it won't look the same. So I think this is the last swipe I'm going to share with you at real time, and I'm going to go on fast forward to put on some music, and I'll be back when I'm done with the swiping. Give it a spin. As you start spinning right away, you'll notice that the color is starting to fill in and spread out, and that's always such a cool thing to see. But you have to be careful. You don't want to overspin this because the ends will start to turn wonky. Wow. That might be the last spin here. I don't want it to get wonky on the sides. But I want to make sure it gets over the edge, like you right here. All right, I think we're gonna call it done. Because when the edges start to get a little wonky, I wanna stop. And I think it's done anyway. Oh yeah, he's so pretty. He's pretty vibrant. All right, I'll get you an overhead shot. And we'll get a picture of this and we'll hope it dries well. It should. Nice. Hey, when I'm back to apply the flower petals to this piece in this kind of wavy format that I swiped it out in. And I'm going to show you at the end a repair I had to do on this because the top of this cradle board started to separate over here from the framework of it. And I used this little clip to secure it and a little bit of glue. And it seems to be pretty good. Once I resin this, you won't notice anything. So what I've got here is some varnish. And this is just some gloss varnish. It just happens to be what I have a lot of right now. I've got a full can of this. So all I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna only show you some of this, I'm going to use the varnish like adhesive. I'm gonna lay some varnish down, then apply the flower to the spot and keep on going across. And I won't show you the whole thing, but let's get started. I will show you some of it. Tweezers are a very important tool to have for this. A paintbrush of some kind. Like I've got a lot of brushes here, but you know, pick your poison as far as your paintbrush. So this petal happens to be a little broken, but I'm going to make use of it by putting this other petal down, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, so here's what I got going for a layout, and let me just get started here. So yeah, I'm just gonna lay this down, and we're gonna apply the petal kind of where I want it to go, and then we'll. Okay, it's there. So we're going to secure it down. Actually, you know what? While I'm here, and I've got, nope, I don't have that wet. I'm gonna wet this over here as well. We'll drop this on, and you really want to know where you're going before you drop it down, because you don't want to move this. Once you get it on, you want to let it stay there. And yeah, this is all I'm going to do all the way across. Just gently get it on there. Now, when I get ready to resin this, some of these petals with a little more relief, like this one and this one, are going to probably protrude some from the resin, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. A little relief on this is not a big deal. let me just show you the whole process. Maybe I'll just go on fast forward. So I'm going to show you this on fast forward, but it is important to note that as you want to lay your framework down before you start. So you want to know where you're going so you're not surprised as you're getting into it. And then once you drop the pedal down, you really want to keep it right where you have it, because these things are so fragile. Any kind of movement, especially when they're wet and stuck, it's going to tear them apart. So you just got to be really careful. The tweezers are so important. And those are my words of caution as we go through. I also want to remind you to check out my description. I have links to different products that I use and also links to other creations. I also have a link for 10% off for KS Resin. If you want to use it, you get 10% off, and I get 5% off for future purchases. I'm going to consider, I think it looks good. Now I got these little guys down here. And for these, I'm just covering up a couple little blemishes. So you saw how much varnish I started with, right? I've hardly used any. What a perfect thing for spring. I also had proposed that this is a perfect thing for a wedding gift. All right. So the extra of this varnish, put it in. I'm going to put this away. Okay, so let me show you what we look like here. So this is where we are. Now, that spot was right here. There's still a little bit of a gap there, but that disconnected. So what I did is I cleaned out where there was paint there. I cleaned out where there was paint there, and I put in some super glue. And then I put a little paper towel as a protector. And I just clamped this on. And I'm not going to show you because I don't want to damage it. I clamped this on and let it sit for, I don't know, an hour or so until it was secured. So I was able to make this work again. All right, so that's all I have for now. The next part will be resin. Also, I forgot to mention, these flowers I got off Amazon. You can find them just about anywhere. But Amazon is a great place to get big packs. Got all kinds of color packs here. And yeah, I think that's all. Okay, I'll be back probably for the final result. I'll probably not show you the resining process, as it just kind of messes me up when I have to show you. But what I'll do is I will rub this down with alcohol wiper, clean it off, get any of my fingerprints off of the piece. I'll resin it. I did wait about a week after painting to now do this, and I can do the resin probably later today or tomorrow. All right, that's all I've got. I'll be back with the final reveal. Okay, thanks for being here. So everyone, that's a wrap. Here she is, fully resined and ready to go. And I just want to remind everybody that everything I create is up for sale. It's looking for a home. So if you're interested in anything I create, just email me. My email is in the description as well, and let me know. So here she is. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell and all. You'll get all my latest art tutorials. A thumbs up is appreciated. A comment is always appreciated as I get back with everybody. At the end of this video, I'm going to have a link to other of these types of embellished swiped creations. And I will tell you here a little secret that I was so distraught when that top board separated from the frame, and I almost didn't go forward to finishing this one, but having the super glue and the idea to clamp it down worked like a champ, so I am really, really especially happy with how this turned out in the end. Also, a reminder to check out my playlist. I have all kinds of creations broken down by category, and check it out for coasters, lazy susans, charcuterie boards, etc. So with that, I think I'm talked out. just want to say take care, everybody. Till next time.